What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. I got a chance to play Luigi's Mansion 3 over at San Diego Comic-Con in the Nintendo Lounge, and I am a gigantic fan of the Luigi's Mansion series, have been since day one on the GameCube, Dark Moon on the 3DS, hell, I even bought it again on the 3DS for the original Luigi's Mansion, so yeah, I like Luigi's Mansion quite a bit. When I played it over at the Nintendo Lounge, I gotta be honest with you guys, I had pretty high expectations going into it. And honestly, in a 15-minute demo, it met and exceeded all of them. As I alluded to in my video talking about San Diego Comic-Con, if you played 3 Nintendo games, you would pick a prize at the end, and I played 3 of them a few different times. So I got a Luigi's Mansion flashlight, a Link's Awakening keychain, and a few other really terrific goodies. I made a video about that, check it out if you missed it. For this video, we're going to be talking about Luigi's Mansion 3, and what I thought about this game. So I'm going to show some of the footage of it while I talk here, and starting off, they give the opening scene where all the characters, Mario, Peach, Toad, Luigi, the dog, all on this bus together driving through the town. Toad can't even see over the steering wheel, so he keeps jumping up. It's actually pretty comical. As it plays out, it shows that they go over a couple bumps and then they get to this mansion, and then nobody is with him. Luigi looks for them and can't find them, and then the demo starts. Now the demo starting is not the very beginning of the game. It looks like it jumps through about a quarter of the way into the game, I would imagine, talking to a couple of the employees at Nintendo. They didn't start it off right at the beginning because they wanted to get people into some more action than what the beginning of the game entails. So I can't speak to how the game starts, but I can definitely talk about what the game feels like. The demo itself was 15 minutes long, and it encapsulated everything you'd want out of a Luigi's Mansion game. Each of the screens that you would pass through would have little puzzles in them, different ways to get through them. Pressing the right thumbstick down would switch you from Luigi into Gooigi, and then he would be able to go through the spikes and go through bars and different places that Luigi wouldn't be able to fit through because he's a physical body and Gooigi is goo. You can quickly switch between Luigi and Gooigi by pressing the right thumbstick down, and each time you press it you switch between the two. And there's also a 2-player mode that the Nintendo representative told me about, where 2 players can play it at the same time, Luigi and Gooigi, going through the game, solving the puzzles without the need of switching between the two, which sounds like an epic experience, especially for me personally, because I'm definitely going to be playing this game with my son, so it makes sense for it to be a 2-player game for me. For those of us who don't have somebody to play it with, you can just swap between the two as you play. It's not something that requires Luigi and Gooigi every single screen you're on, but for the most part in this demo, they were used quite often, and a lot of these puzzles had you critically thinking hard on how to progress to the next screen. Sometimes it was as easy as blowing a windmill to raise and lower an elevator, turning into Gooigi to walk through spikes to hit a switch, or Luigi himself shooting a plunger, then sucking it off the door and popping the door open in order to get a key. The game feels more along the lines of Luigi's Mansion 1, not Dark Moon, which was more episodic. This one feels more like a return to the roots of the series, and to me that's a good thing. Not that I didn't like Dark Moon, but I felt like the aura of Luigi's Mansion in the original Mansion gave it a vibe that was unique to itself. There was no real game out there that felt like Luigi's Mansion previously. And Dark Moon was clearly made as one of those on-the-go kind of games, just short snippets of playing, where you can open and close your 3DS and play it, get it out of the way, and move on to the next thing you're doing in the day. Luigi's Mansion, the original, was more of like a sit-down experience, an adventure, an action game that took more time to play through and encouraged longer play times. Luigi's Mansion 3 is going to be one of those games that requires more playtime, sitting down, solving puzzles. I know the first one had puzzles, but Luigi's Mansion 3, it felt like every screen you were on had a different puzzle to solve, which was good and bad. I will say I would have preferred a little bit more casual style, where longer screens, longer puzzles, where you'd get a key on one screen but have to bring it to a different area of the level. This was more, you get a key on the screen and you unlock the door on that same screen. Maybe that's just part of the demo. Maybe the game opens up a little bit bigger as you progress through it, but from the demo itself, it felt like every puzzle was isolated to each room that you were in. So take that for what it's worth. As far as Luigi's new abilities in Luigi's Mansion 3, he can shoot a plunger like I mentioned earlier, and then proceed to turn the vacuum on and suck the plunger off the wall so that he can unveil secrets. Other things he can do, he can also suck ghosts up and swing them and smash them back and forth on the ground. Lots of unique new features to this game, but like I was talking to the Nintendo representative while I was playing the demo, it felt natural, it felt like it was always a part of the series. So yes, there's a lot of new features, yes, there's a lot of new abilities that Luigi can do, but it feels like they've always been there. So they're implemented perfectly. I wonder if I go back to the original Luigi's Mansion games, if I would kind of miss those after playing Luigi's Mansion 3, but on its own, they fit, they're perfect, and they're actually fun for invoking new puzzle solving skills, things you couldn't do in the original Luigi's Mansion games that you can do now, so you're gonna think a little bit harder to pass some of these puzzles than you originally had to. The demo continues on until you get to an end boss who's in a coliseum, riding around on a ghost horse, and he has a javelin trying to spike you with it. You have to wait until he's charging at you before you flash him with the light, then he drops all his gear, then you have to shoot the plunger at the target on his shield, then turn the vacuum on and suck it up, and then you can start attacking the ghosts. So there were a lot of steps involved just on this first boss of the demo that really took a lot of work to figure out. There were a lot of moving parts to it, but once you actually got the pattern down, you'd be able to beat him, and that's where the demo ended. Overall, like I said, Luigi's Mansion 3 is everything I wanted out of a sequel in the series and then some. This is one of my favorite, most underrated game series out there. I'm so happy that Nintendo has continued to make more of these, even though the original one on the GameCube, I don't think it sold as well as Nintendo had been hoping, but they keep making these games, they keep doing better, and there is a lot of passion behind this project. You could tell, like I said, when I was talking to the Nintendo employees at the booth, they worked on this game. They were the actual localizers for it. They were telling me how much work went into it, and they were so happy to see that I was enjoying the game, and it was a really good exchange we had talking about it. Nintendo is passionate about Luigi's Mansion. I am passionate about Luigi's Mansion, as are a lot of people out there. It looks like Nintendo has gone over the top with this to make sure they have satisfied everyone's hopes and dreams with it, and honestly, Halloween can't get here soon enough. That is the day this game is releasing. Day one purchase easy for me. I mean, hell, I was gonna get it regardless of playing the demo, but after I played the demo, yes, I am sold. This is a solidified purchase for me. And like I said, there are a lot of new features to this game that are unique to Luigi's Mansion 3 that were not available in the original 2. So it doesn't necessarily require you playing the original 2 Luigi's Mansions to enjoy this one. It stands on its own. It's unique enough. It doesn't really connect the storyline from what I could tell in the demo yet to the other two. Yes, there are returning characters. Professor Egad, I'm sure, is a part of this, but for the most part, no, you don't need to play the original 2 Luigi's Mansions to enjoy this game. It stands just fine on its own and truly feels like it will be an instant classic, something that everybody should own in their Switch library. At least, those are my initial impressions on this game. I'm gonna leave the video at that and continue to wait for Halloween night for me to be able to play this game in full. Gonna be very exciting. I'd be very interested to hear what you guys have to say about the Luigi's Mansion series, and if you're looking forward to Luigi's Mansion 3. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing!
Mm-hmm.